Debbie Lee Mishanis, and this is a One Life Fine Art Studio video. Today we will be talking about the creation of portrait commission Sam and Diane. Some paintings are made all in one go, or alla prima. These are known as direct paintings. Others are indirect, as in the final image is arrived at in layers which will never be apparent to the viewer of the finished piece. That is the case with this commissioned portrait I did of Sam and his grandmother Diane in 2012. This video shows the first painting step in this 14 by 18 acrylic painting on canvas. Here you can see I start with an umber, which I've mixed with a gloss medium and a drying retarding agent to slow the dry process so I can use oil painting techniques like wiping out to blend and adjust the grisaille or grayscale with such humble tools as cotton swabs, cotton balls, and torn corners of my shop towels. Grisaille is a term that might need some definition. Grisaille is a super old school art master term for a grayscale rendering of your image. Traditionally, the grisaille goes through several stages of modeling to give the illusion of dimensionality, like a low-relief sculpture. Used in traditional, indirect oil painting techniques, brighter glazes of color are then laid on top of the grisaille. Of course, a grisaille doesn't have to be gray. Umber is also a traditional favorite, as was an earthy green. I encourage you out there to experiment with unconventional grisaille bases to see what sort of effects you can get. However, I find the umbers to make an unobtrusive base to a painting. This is important as I am often using my grisaille to work out composition as I go. Sam and Diane is the third of 3 commissions I completed for this client. The first was based on a photo of Max and his granddad Myron at their very first meeting. Of course, this painting started from a favorite photo of the client with her grandson, but I am not merely copying her photo. I needed to discuss with her how she wanted to feel when she looked at this painting, which is connected to how the client feels about herself at this time in her life. I then made changes to the photograph to reflect those emotional needs. I made a mock-up which I worked from pinned to the easel. However, when the image scales up to an artwork, things sometimes need to shift and be reassessed. And you can see I take pauses to reassess my project as I go. I am not only pausing to reassess the progress of the layout or composition, but also to correct lines that may be slightly off or shades that may be too light or too dark. An area that's made slightly too dark or too light can change our perception of the facial features of the client. However, while I'm striving for accuracy in the portrait, sometimes I step away from accuracy in order to flatter the sitter or achieve a feeling. Some of the changes I made to this image were to eliminate some of the original cluttered background in favor of something colorful and abstract that worked with the previous paintings in the series. The 3 paintings were intended to be hung together. The color choices were also made so that they would appeal to the client's color preferences and speak to the vibrant and unconventional grandparents that they are. I also changed the sleeve on the sitter from one of a t-shirt to a puffed sleeve to reflect the sweetness that grandchildren had brought to this grandmother's life. I also chose to soften the lines of experience she had. This isn't just about flattery, it's also about how she felt about herself at that point. Being a grandmother had brought her back to a younger, more vibrant part of her life. The second painting in the series, Max and Diane, is arguably my favorite of the set. I was able to paint a quiet moment as grandmother and grandson spend time together in the way that this client was able to. This client's world had been condensed down to her sofa and her living room. While I feel this portrait was most true to the client and her life, her final portrait with her second grandson was more about depicting her interior ideal life, not held back by her medical condition and its effects on her life. And in the end, if art cannot depict our interior reality beyond our physical reality, why do it at all?